Hey, so this is session 2 of 4 for City of Mist on the Gauntlet Hangouts. City of Mist is a PbtA inspired, based, built on game of sort of superhero noir. It is a massive book, and as I have said, and I'm going to say every time I do one of these sessions, it has no index. Each session I become more and more irritated by that, but that's just a thing, and I'll keep saying it. That's what I'm going to harp on. So this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. If you're curious about what this online game is watching, you can find out more about that by kind of checking out my channel. I've got lots of videos that I record for AP tabletop RPGs each week. If you're curious about the sort of larger sphere of the Gauntlet Hangouts, you can check at gauntlet-rpg.com, and there you'll find things about our blog, about our multiple podcasts, and about our online gaming calendar, which as of today, game sessions running January through February, we have 250 games on the calendar for that time period, which is, as the kids might say, the cray-cray. So there we go. So what we're going to do today is we've got a couple of new characters coming in. We're going to take a look at those. There are a couple of relationship questions that we're going to answer based on what our characters are like. And I'll introduce the old characters and we'll get set up to where we're at. Now, this is a game of a kind of mythic superheroes. It is a world where everyone lives in the city. The city has no name, but in this city, people have begun, or maybe they've had for a long time, we just don't know, their rifts, which means they carry within them a certain mythic story, either a myth from reality or even a literary myth that they are enacting the stories of, which gives them powers, and they cross paths with other people that bear these rifts. And they have this tension between the mysteries of these powers and the logos of their everyday life. The force that kind of works against them or for them at times is this thing called the mist, which does fuzz people's memories. So when they see someone's superpowers, they come up with some other explanation. They don't remember it exactly afterwards, or they've looked away at exactly the wrong time. So that is a force that helps our player characters and the other rifts that are acting in here to keep them somewhat concealed. That can be broken, of course. And the mist can also fuzz the memories of the rifts themselves. So that is a force that works against them. In the case of our group of sort of super beings, they settled on being a group of masked vigilantes. They have an office space. They do have each other's back, but they essentially are kind of crime fighters within this city. So I will have them introduce themselves in just a second. It's definitely a comic booky tone. There's some noir stuff. Anything really heavy is kind of off the table. Let me see. I think that's probably what I need to say about tone. Remind everyone that the X card as a safety tool is on the table. You can message the X card through the chat, or you can do it visibly. If there's something that bothers you, we can excise past it. So let's start with you, David. You chose Lestrange. So looking at the character's abilities, you have the one sort of power, this adaptation power, and then you've got 3 of these logos abilities that are on those cards. How are you picturing this Lestrange character? There's a little bit of detail in there, but taking a look at that, what is your image of them?
Yeah, so I'm imagining this character is kind of like maybe like in the scholarly circles. He runs a antiques store, antiques dealer, and I feel like he's just sort of this guy who's sort of stuck between reality and this dreamscape, because he has living in a dream is his mystery power. Uh, and so I feel like some of it's unconscious how he shifts things. And I kind of see him, at least right now, because I'm new to this game, as uncertain about a lot of his capabilities. I kind of see him as someone who, if not currently, he's probably dabbled in different mushrooms and drugs and things from different cultures as he's traveled. So one of his occupation is the dubious antique stealer. And I feel like he's inherited this from a family member, maybe.
Okay.
So maybe this ability runs in the family. Who knows? And he also has training as a gunslinger. And I feel like he probably has like a really good friend who taught him how to deal with things with guns. And then his personality's been around. So I see that as very worldly, and he has a lot of travel with different cultures, different things going on. So it probably takes a lot to really kind of knock him on his back feet, like to like really startle him with something. Probably takes a lot. No means is he an expert of everything, but I feel like in a moment he's a good person to rely on to make a gut check and to do something.
And how old does he appear?
In my mind, there's a picture of him in the sheet, but I see him as younger, like maybe in his mid-30s.
And how long has he been, has this dream thing sort of, been part of his life? Is it a recent thing? Is it a longer term thing?
Yeah. So if we go with the scholarship angle, maybe he was pursuing his PhD in psychology, but never finished it. So I feel like this event, whatever this ability is, has interrupted his normal career path, and so he's I see him as kind of like not certain where his life is going. So I would say maybe 7 years he's been having these things coming and going, and he just sort of explains them away as like other things.
And for these dream powers that you have, is there any kind of visible effect, or is it purely in his head? How are you imagining that?
Well, I think for him, he doesn't know yet how much it actually affects the reality around.
Okay.
Because he's not comfortable talking to a lot of people about what's going on. I would assume in this world there's probably a mental institute. And given that he's knowledgeable of such things, he probably is like overly paranoid.
Okay.
So yeah, so I feel like this team would be like kind of like the first family that he's really attempting to articulate what he's been going through. They don't usually have like AA or counseling services for people who feel like they're warping reality.
Right, right. Especially because even when you talk to people about this kind of thing, when you try and demonstrate it, they end up walking away not having seen it, not having
right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Excellent. John, can I come to you and ask you about what you've picked? Can you hear us okay, John, or not hearing anything? Might be having audio issues. We'll give him a sec here.
Sorry, mine's and I'm trying to straighten it out, but it's nothing seems to be going. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you
Okay.
hear us? Okay.
For the moment, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, turning off the camera is a good idea. See if that helps stabilize your connection.
Yeah. So, did you want me to introduce my guy, or did you have a question for me?
Yeah. Tell us. You settled on mitosis, so tell us about how you're picturing them.
Okay. So mitosis. He used to be a boxer named Handsome Dan Coolidge. Very well known. A very good boxer. 62 fights, no losses. He was set to be like the next superstar until he got into an accident, and then they said he had some kind of disease because he has kind of a green tinge to his skin, and if you look closely, it kind of looks like vines or roots that are laid over where his muscles are. And so he basically is living off what money he has from a career that's over, and he does hooked up with these people to why not do a little bit something if I can't get it back in the ring,
And let me ask you this: since the mist kind of hides people seeing exactly what you're like, there's kind of they have a picture. So, what do you kind of look like to your colleagues? What do they actually see, and what do people who kind of mistake you for something more normal? What do they see?
So people that see me as normal, he still kind of has there's something off about him, like his skin's kind of similar to what he did before, but his skin has like a slight off color to it. For the people that I work with that can see through the mist, he looks. I put a picture in there. It's kind of like a half orc. He's got tusks. He's got hair slicked back. He's kind of hunched over a little bit, extra long. Like I said, his skin is tight green, but if you look at it closely, it looks like it's plants.
Okay, and you've got some bio reconstruction, looks like, and the ability to take damage. And then your life as the ex-fighter. Okay, that looks good. Let me say a little bit about how the mechanics of this game work, just to remind our returning people and to talk with our new people. Anytime you go to do something, to go do a move, you tell us what we're doing. We figure out what move it is, and then you say which tags you think apply. And essentially, like under any one of these cards, you'll see you usually have 3 power tags. What you'll do is you'll look through all your cards and figure out which tags are directly relevant to that action. If they're directly relevant to action, you kind of say that, and you can check the box that is to the right-hand side of them. And that kind of calculates for the roller. We go up to the top, and once you've done those clicks, you'll look at the core moves or cinematic moves up at the top, and you'll actually push the button on the roller there. So for which particular move, so for example, right now mitosis has 3 power towards the thing. Or click a couple of those, John, for me. Just pick a couple random power tags. Here, let's grab these 2 here. I'll grab 2, and I'm going to hit the roller. What it'll do is it'll pull on the roller thing. It'll show you the results with what tags you used what the result was and what the power level is of that, because sometimes your power level will affect what you get. Like for when you're doing investigation, your power level determines how many clues you get. So basically, you click boxes on the power tags you think are appropriate. You also have a number of weakness tags. You can click on those. You can apply a weakness tag to it. It gives you a -1, but it also means you get to essentially mark what they call attention, which is XP on that particular, what they call power theme. So that's how you get XP for your character, is by using your weakness tags. If there are statuses that work for you or against you, up at the top where it says taking action, you put those under plus and minus. The other thing I'll mention is that you do have the option of burning one of your power tags. If you burn it, you click the little flame symbol next to it. When you do that, you can't use it until you get it fixed, but it gives you an automatic 10 base result with a 3 power. So that's another option. Helping people is a little bit different than other PbtA games. Essentially, when you want to help someone, you do the change the game move, which means you're kind of setting something up. You're creating advantages. It's a little bit like creating an advantage in a Fate game. It works a little bit like that. So that's the basics on that. Now, I want to have our 2 returning characters introduce themselves, and then we'll get the sort of the help-hurt relationship things for our 2 new characters, and then we'll roll on into where we're at. So, Stephen, let's have you give us the quick rundown on Azita Nuri.
Sure thing. So I'm playing Azita Nuri. She is a Persian punk, speedster, and has flashes of the sight. The actual card that I'm using is hipster. I felt more like a punk, and a lot of the stuff applies. Sarcasm, free thinker, cares about fashion, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
And how would you describe your power sets?
So as far as speed, it's things like being able to act just before things happen, being able to get there just in the nick of time, that kind of stuff. Time warp. It's actually time space warping.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other power is divination.
Okay.
And that comes up via the sight, which sometimes I get flashes of the past. Sometimes it's flashes of some other part of the cities, things like that.
Excellent. And then, Agatha, would you please tell us about Ghostface?
Yes. I was going to mention something else that has to do with the Wu-Tang Clan, but I'm not going to. Okay, so Kyle Hansen, aka Ghostface, used to be a cop, but after the mythos manifested in him, he I guess just out of the circumstances, he retired because he couldn't stay on the force. He still is really passionate about fighting crime, so kind of put on a mask to kind of hide what he's become, like his true face, after the whole mythos incident. So his power is so the mythos is called the Chernobog, which seems like some kind of like radiation nuclear.
It is in fact a lost Slavic god from the 12th century.
Thank you. That is what I wanted to know. So no radiation. just kidding. It's I mean, he doesn't know anything about it. It just like happened. It doesn't have any ties to him in any way, like historically. So he doesn't understand what's going on. The powers that he manifests are, let's see, the aura of fear. So he like what he looks like is like there's always like a aside from the picture, he looks like that, but then there's like constantly this like black shadowy, it looks like flames, this is shape of flames like all around his head, but it's shadows, and like he can like when he looks at people, if he doesn't control his powers, then they're like seized with fear, so that sucks, but that's life. And he also has control over shadows. Yeah. And I feel like he's kind of taken Azita under his wing a little bit.
That seems right. We certainly saw a little bit of that last time. So let's come to you, Lestrange. What we're going to do is we're going to get 2 quick relationship details. And the way we do that is you're going to pick one of your theme books, and then I'm going to look at the sort of random questions that are associated with that type of theme book, and I'm going to ask you a question. The assumption is that you know the other PCs. So we'll see if the question fits for one of them, and then you'll write that under your crew, which is the rightmost card, has it towards the middle of the rightmost card, your character card. And you'll decide whether you get a help or a hurt point on your compatriot. So, and most of the people were hurt last time. I would think it was 75% hurt. So which of your theme books do you want me to draw a question from?
All right, so I have the document open.
Okay. So yeah, look at the 4 cards on the dock, and which one do you want to draw from? Your dream, your dubious
okay.
gunslinger.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go with the dream for one of them.
Okay, so that's adaptation.
Okay.
So let me ask you. So you think one of these 2, either your speedster or your fear generator, is kind of a one-trick pony, approaching every situation with the same solution over and over again. That's hurt the crew before. What do you think happened, and what do you think occurred?
Probably the fear one.
Okay.
And that's right. And probably some innocents were put in harm's way as a result of that. Like some bystanders maybe were rushed out away from whatever was happening, but maybe rushed out into traffic, and there were some, if not fatalities, maybe some like bruisings or things like that.
Does that seem good for you, Ghostface?
I feel like that's not. I feel like that wouldn't really happen.
Okay.
For Kyle specifically, I feel like there's a way that could be the case, but that would only happen if it was like at the very beginning when the power first started manifesting as Ghostface for him, where it like went out of control. But otherwise, like he's not the kind of person that like doesn't care about bystanders. So
you're saying maybe that happened at the beginning, and maybe Lestrange kind of hasn't gotten over that?
Yeah, I think that could work.
Does that seem reasonable to you, Lestrange?
That's fine. That was just the first idea, just without knowing more. I'm open to other suggestions as well.
Or Azita and her speedsterdom. Sure. I don't know if that would work for you. Let's try and figure that out. Stephen, does that seem more for which do you think that falls on? Are you a one-trick pony?
So in the last session, I had hacker skills that I used. I had speedster skills that I used. That was a little bit more diverse.
Okay.
But I'm also very showy and kind of in your face and just blows it off. You don't, you know, very gruff. So I'm sure I could come across that way. What do you think?
So Lestrange, do you think you'd be react more negatively to a young punk who kind of use their speed and is kind of in their face, or someone with maybe a darker power that one time you saw it go overboard, and now you're leery about it?
So I feel like the dark power that goes over, because I feel like that power is closer to Lestrange's power. So I feel like he would be like thinking, oh, I hope that doesn't happen to me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and you haven't quite gotten over it, even though Ghostface hasn't.
Like, I feel like
that.
my character hasn't really gotten a good grasp of his powers, so he's just like probably overreacting, or taking something that happened and just hasn't processed it in some way, maybe.
Okay. And Agatha, does that work for you then in that reframing?
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Okay. So you can under Lestrange, under your crew, you can write Ghostface and put 1 point of hurt. And then I'll have you pick another theme book.
Okay. What if we do the antiques dealer one?
Okay. That is your routine. So you think one of your cohorts has a penchant for mayhem or drama that could destabilize your routine if you let them in. Does that work for Azita for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that seem reasonable, Azita?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So once again, you'll take a hurt point on Azita.
Wait a second.
Yeah. John, how are you doing? You back?
Yeah, and it seems to be running much smoother now. So
okay. What I'm going to do is we're going to get 2 relationship questions for you. And the way that we do that is that you're going to pick 2 of your theme books, like Adaptation, Bastion, Training, or Defining Event. And I'm going to ask you a question based on that. So which is the first one do you want to ask about?
let's go with training.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to figure out which of your fellow crew members this applies to. So this is regarding your training. One of your fellow crew members helps you keep your act sharp. If it's because they're competing with you or threatening you, take a hurt point. Otherwise, you take a help point. So do you think that one of them is kind of, competing with you? Helps you keep your act sharp, or are they keeping it sharp out of a sense of goodness? And you can suggest someone, or if somebody, one of the other players, wants to grab that one, do you think they can do that?
I don't know. Maybe Declan, since he occasionally seems to, if I heard properly, has some illegal dealings. Maybe he needs me to help him out, and that leads me to keeping my skills sharp every once in a while.
That work for you, Declan?
Yeah. You mean like kind of like bodyguard or security for some trades?
Questionable dealings.
There's no question. I know what's going on.
All right. So that sounds like Declan actually, it isn't a competitive thing, but something you rely on him for.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, John, under your character card, you can write Declan's name and write 1 help. Essentially, click that up to 1.
Okay.
And then I'll have you pick another one of your theme books.
All right, and I think for my other one, I will go with How about Bastion?
Bastion. All right. So you once protected something very dear to one of them, possibly even from them. If they were grateful, take a help point. If they were not, take a hurt point. So who might you have protected something for? Think that's Azita, or you think that's Deathhead? The Ghostface. Why did I say Deathhead?
I don't know. Does either of your characters have anything that would apply for?
Sure. I mean, I think there's always something. I could have one, unless Steven, you wanted to jump in with Azita.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
She doesn't care about anything. She's a hipster.
She's not a hipster, though. She's not a hipster at all. She's just a goth kid. I think it's actually my former partner on the police force. What is their name? I don't know if I gave them a name.
Didn't we give them a name? Let me see here. Hang on.
I think we said that we were going to later, and then we just forgot about it.
Yeah, I think we forgot about it.
You know.
So is your former partner a man or a woman?
A woman.
A woman. And have an idea for a name?
Sure. Let's say Anita.
Anita. Okay. So you protected Ghostface's former partner on the police force. Do you think Ghostface, do you think you were grateful?
Yeah, I think I was.
Okay.
It was I think it was one of those situations where if I showed up, oh my gosh, I hate my bangs. Sorry. If I showed up, I because she's kind of suspicious of me or what I'm doing these days, because vigilante is technically illegal. And if I showed up, it would just confirm her suspicion. So I can't be there. So I asked you to do it. So I'm pretty grateful. And he is really sharp.
Does that work for you, Mitosis?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, so then you can put another help point. So we've got 2 help points. Look, people like each other. It's crazy. So I'm going to give you the most basic rundown of the case as it came out, and then I'm going to ask Agatha and Stephen if there are details that were missed. Essentially, last time they ran into an informant, a particular Ghostface did, and this informant needed some help and offered up to Ghostface details about a couple of strange deaths that the police were looking into, and that they were trying to keep quiet about them, but that there were strange circumstances to it. And it was for 2 people. I'm going to give you the names here in the thing. Manu Sigwell and Thai Pham. And both of them are kind of wealthy people, have a general good reputation as philanthropists, wealthy scions of the city, or people that have made their money through business investments. And both of them died strangely. In the case of Sigwell, he fell down the stairs in his house, tripped over a cat. He doesn't have a cat. They found cat hair and stuff on the scene, but there were no cats there. And then Tai Pham actually was killed when a bird flew into his car as he was driving and essentially struck him in the eye, and he spun off the road and crashed. And I think that's the basics of the 2 murders. And then I believe there was some legwork done, some checking on things, some not great results on various people's roles. But then I believe that you used your divinatory powers there, flicker, and got a vision. And you want to describe what you can recall of it?
What I recall was that I saw an attack chicken, and it seemed to come after me, and it was very, very scary. Like, panicked the bravado punk chick when she came out, and it seemed really, yeah, it was just very, very scary. A big attack chicken, yeah.
Particularly chicken legs,
Hmm.
giant chicken legs, not drumsticks, but chicken legs. So what we know so far, and tell me what I've missed, is that we have 2 murders of wealthy people in the city. Animals are involved, and there seems to be some supernatural entanglement, some sort of supernatural thing going on with it. Stephen, Agatha, I think that's the basics. Did I miss any other key details?
No, I think that's what I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to hard frame in your 2 associates, 2 more of your team that get called in. Lestrange, when you got the call that there was a case, there was something up, Ghostface, called and assembled the team, what do you suppose you were in the middle of?
Let's see. I think he was in the middle of performing unauthorized sleep research study.
Unauthorized, or involuntary? What do you mean unauthorized?
Well, he doesn't have his PhD, and he's not working with a credentialed institute. So I think kind of like him and some colleagues and some paid patients.
Craigslist.
Yeah, something like that. In a rented warehouse, performing some research, right? Because he's trying to get to the bottom of what's up with him, but he needs to get like baselines with enough people because he doesn't access anymore to that kind of data.
Yeah. So you've been working with some hanky people. You've got these warehouses with these sort of covered beds and the REM things hooked up to them, and you've been doing that. When you will get the text that comes over the group chat saying, "We have a case, call in, check in with the office, looking into some murders," essentially. So what do you tell your colleagues here?
I will tell them to follow, because I think my character's enough of a professional. He has like an operation, so tell them, remind them about the procedures, to take the notes, the recordings and whatnot, and to remember to give the gift card after they're done. Like, just kind of like do what you're supposed to be doing, and I'll check back in with you later.
Yes, we understand the protocols. There's no worry. There's no worry. We will give them the things they need. There's no worry about it.
Gracias.
Yes, go. And mitosis, what do you suppose you're in the middle of when you get the call?
What time of day are we talking here?
I think we're actually pretty late in the evening.
Pretty late in the evening. I would say mitosis is probably just like in his little apartment. He has the old like a tube TV that he's watching TV on. Would have been like really good about 10 years ago, but now it's not so much. And he's just like, just kind of sitting there watching a Wheel of Fortune or something.
Absolutely. They've got Wheel of Fortune now on Netflix, so you can watch old episodes of that, so that's great. And you will get the call. Do you think that this is something you've been looking forward to, or does this feel like an interruption?
Something he's looking forward to.
Okay. So it's T-Pham for the Vietnamese pronunciation of that first name, you think? Okay. So Ghostface, let's assume that you've brought Azita back to the office after her episode. Does that seem fair?
Sure.
Azita, what kind of state were you in after this vision?
So I was actually trying to. Basically, I was trying. You see Azita. Basically, she's shaking. I think that she, smoked a cigarette very quickly at the end of the last session. So I think that Ghostface kind of, helps her into the vehicle, and then she's still shaking a little bit, but she's kind of puffing up, trying to project bravado, but you can kind of see it's easier to see through it right now.
And Kyle, do you think that are we driving around in your car? I can't remember.
I don't know if I have a car. Well, let's say I have a car then.
Okay.
Did you have a bike? No.
No,
didn't.
that was
That was Irene.
But yeah, what kind of car do you suppose is it a nice new car? Is it a junker? Is it an inconspicuous car? Kyle?
I think it's definitely like really nondescript. So probably like some kind of, I don't know, rando silver car.
Okay.
That everyone sees sedan. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an Impala. That's that it's silver. When people call out the intercom, somebody left their lights on. Everybody stands up in the restaurant. So it's that kind of thing.
That's definitely the kind of car.
Yeah. So what is your office like? When you guys we established you have kind of a shared office space. What does that look like?
Yeah, I remember last time we said that because Callie was the one who kind of financed the whole thing, and she wanted it to have that like old school, like
that's right. It's a warehouse.
Yeah.
What have you done to make this warehouse more amenable to you?
I think aside from the really comfy couch that I am always chilling on, I think there's like a mini fridge. Maybe there's like a couple of mini fridges, but there's one that I brought, so it's a little like beat up. And it just has like a lot of beer in there.
Okay. What kind of beer does Ghostface drink?
Oh my gosh.
Is it microbrew? Is it just off the shelf? Is it cans? Is it bottles?
I guess it must be like bottles of PBR.
Okay. I'm so sorry for him. All right. So the shot is, let's assume that you've gotten Azita back here. Azita, by the time you get back to the office, are you back together, you think?
So I think that, so we see Azita and Ghostface go into the office. Like, I picture us going up some stairs, and Azita excuses herself to the bathroom. And we see this tense moment where she's like, splashes water in her face and kind of, puts herself together in front of the mirrors, like, tense and, oh, you've got this. And then kind of goes back out. Yeah. And then she's completely composed.
And she comes back out.
I'll offer you a beer. It's PBR, which you know.
Sure. Yeah.
And how old is Azita? I've forgotten.
I think it was the low 20s.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
23, 24.
So we'll assume within the next, half hour, that Irene and Callie have had to head off to various obligations. That Declan and Handsome Dan show up in response to your call, and so you can kind of give them the briefing on what's gone on. Do you think you have a meeting table? Or is it that you have a set of couches that you all sit around to talk? What do you imagine?
I feel like it's like there is an area that has a meeting table, but we don't actually go there. And it is just like that one couch and then another chair.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that what's been set up here is we're supposed to all, there's this idea of a standing meeting that's kind of been brought in. We're supposed to stand around the table and discuss things and maybe put out files. But what we really do is kind of scoot our little office chairs around to the couch and kind of slovenly sit there and visit. Yeah.
Yeah, you ignore the PowerPoint setup and whatever little hand screens that Calliope has gotten for you. All that fancy meeting equipment, with the heads up displays off to the side. You're on this off-white couch. So you are filled in on the details. Couple of murders, high-level people, strange animal attacks, supernatural connection. That's what you have.
So, did you check the zoo?
We just got back. Do you have a connection to the zoo?
It's the zoo. You just walk into the place, don't you?
Sure. Just like every other mom and, little 5-year-old snot-nosed kid. You walk in, you look around, it's, we're not going to find anything that way. Do you know somebody at the zoo?
I might know somebody at the zoo.
Okay. Well, that sounds great.
I did an appearance there once. It was a while ago. They were opening up the new penguin exhibit. But, that was a ways back, but I can make a few phone calls.
Azita kind of looks over at Ghostface like, are you in to go to the zoo?
I just, if there's animals, the zoo's the first place I think of. Like, what animals are we talking about here? I know you said giant chickens, but I never heard of that.
So it's a giant chicken.
Azita, you see this she kind of looks away from everybody and kind of shivers a little bit and says, yeah, it's a big giant chicken. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's a sign, or maybe it's maybe we should go to KFC and see if they have a big giant stand-up thing. I'm just saying. Maybe that's where their headquarters is. I don't know.
So Declan is looking at Azita like expecting there to be like feathers or claw marks or some evidence that there was a chicken encounter here.
I think whenever Azita, no, this was just a vision. I think whenever Azita notices that Declan is kind of glancing at her and everything.
I would say he's got his research little notepad and he's writing down notes.
But paying extra attention to Azita, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, she stands up and gets in his face, and she's like, "What the fuck? I told you it was a giant chicken. What do you want now?"
I'm trying to determine what subspecies.
Okay, I'm gonna stand up. Sit down. Come on.
I think Azita kind of looks over and kind of puffs up a little bit, and yeah, okay, and sits back down.
Okay, so Danny, is that the name? Danny, right? Handsome Dan.
Dan.
Danny boy.
All right, Dan, you get on that contact in the zoo. Is anyone? Yeah, I don't know about these things. Can you Do people call you Declan or Lestrange?
I imagine that you all will just call me Declan.
Declan.
But like my clients would call me Mr. Lestrange or whatever.
Mr. Lestrange.
Mr.
Great. I'm pretty sure when there are arguments, then we call you Mr. Lestrange.
Awesome.
Declan, why don't you see if you can see anything, in your dreams, You can walk the dreams, right?
So Declan sort of like sighs like, is this all I'm good for as a team member?
And Azita, at this little discourse, Azita kind of shivers a little bit because it's bringing back memories, and she kind of gets up and she walks over to her desk to kind of get out of the way.
So I feel like Declan has like a medical ritual for when he does it. And he's like, fine, I'll arrange for that after lunch.
It's all good. Do you like get high or something? Is that what you do?
There is a medical or yeah, I feel like there's some injection and a few other things, like a concoction.
Oh, I see.
Just like stimulate it. Because ICM is not in full control of the set at this point.
Cool.
Well, let's start with Dan. Then let's talk to Declan. That'll maybe give us some pieces, and then we can follow up and see what Ghostface and Azita are doing. Does that seem cool? Kind of work it in that direction. So as morning breaks and as the day starts, you want to try and contact somebody at the zoo?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So we're kind of using that as a thing. So let's do a little bit of the convo. You talk to somebody from the public relations department, from marketing there, and they're, oh, Mr. Coolidge, I'd heard you retired.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was a thing. Not a big deal.
Well, we were very happy to have you at the banquet a couple of years ago for our Zubu celebration for Halloween.
It was my pleasure. Yeah. I was just wondering if you had anything new coming up, like any new exhibits or any new animals coming in.
Well, we've certainly been working with some doing some exchanges with some Australian exhibits, and we've got actually a set of Russian minks and some of the other small animals coming in that we have set up. So we're kind of excited about those in the near future, and of course, the leopards are pregnant. So we're looking forward to that in the spring.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, if you needed tickets, I could certainly get you tickets, or if there's something else you needed.
Yeah. A friend of mine was asking, he is really into birds. You don't know anything about any giant birds or large birds that have been around, do you? Like, he swears he saw something in the street. It's the craziest thing.
Like an ostrich?
He maybe an ostrich. I think he kind of more described it like a chicken.
Well, that's not. I'm
not obviously not like an actual chicken, but like like a big chicken.
So what you're asking me is if we know about any chickens of unusual size in the city.
Yeah. Or
now,
like an ostrich, maybe. If like
well,
one
we do have
ostriches.
ostriches. We do have ostriches here. Ostriches make terrible pets, as do emus. That's the other ML I can imagine. So I can't imagine anyone would have private ostriches since they outlaw them as domestic farm animals. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you want to talk to one of our staff, researchers or biologists or somebody who maybe can help you with this.
That would be really great. Do you think you could get me and my friend some tickets to go in there and talk to him?
If you come in, and I'll leave a couple of passes at the door, the front gate for you. Just come, give your name, and I can introduce you to one of our staff zoologists who can assist you. Is that okay?
Could you do me an extra favor and make it 4 tickets? I got some friends in from out of town.
Absolutely, we can certainly do that.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's going to love the giant birds, even if they're not chickens.
Oh, okay, great. We'll good talking to you.
Yeah, wonderful to talk to you too.
And yeah, we'd see her putting the phone down and like, that was a weird conversation. And she does go to send the tickets though, even though she thinks suspected you're maybe drunk on the phone with her. Azita. That's not Azita, sorry, Declan. You are going to self-medicate?
Yes.
Okay. And then what you're going to try and use your powers to kind of investigate?
Yeah, I feel like we're trying to track down the animals that might lead us to the people or persons using them as assassin weapons.
Okay.
So maybe alter my senses or the world around me in order to locate them, these animals.
Okay. So one of the things is that this is what is the word for it? There's a term in the mechanics. Okay, my little cheat sheet here. So you're kind of trying to look beyond the mist. You're trying to use your dream skills as the fiction to kind of look into the void to try and get this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what that is that's it's based on the number of mythos theme books that you have. So you have 1.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you do me a favor and let's just have you click one of your premonitions power tag. I think that'll substitute in for this.
Okay. There's hits.
You just click the one to the box to the right of it.
Okay. Done.
And then go ahead and go up and under core moves, click investigate.
Okie dokie.
So what do the others see when you start walking into this dream?
Well, I actually feel like, if this makes sense, that I feel like he's got like he's repurposed like a full like GIMP bondage suit, and he's got like these injector things in it that go right into like his spine and his nervous system. So he like has a pressure button, he presses it, and then the needles go in, and then it injects into him. And I feel like he's sort of chained against a wall in case there's like a bad side effect. And so I feel like he's narrating his walk, but he's not actually physically free to do so. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to be a liability for himself or someone else by if he's in this weird alternate state and then wandering off the ledge of some building or something.
You will kind of push yourself out into the dream state.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll walk through, we see the kind of classic Doctor Strange, weird shift in the background, reality stuff. And then you will feel yourself moving along, and you're kind of walking in parallel with sort of two figures. One off to the left, you can't see them, but it almost is like somebody walking on stilts. And you can hear the sounds of animals from that side.
Mm-hmm.
And you and them all seem to be, walking pretty rapidly. Up ahead of you, you can see this figure, maybe a girl, maybe a woman who's running away. And clearly you and this figure to your left and this figure to your right are all moving to pursue her.
Mm-hmm.
And you look over, and the figure to your right-hand side, you look and you actually see this person. He's in a suit.
Mm-hmm.
And this person has a skull for a head.
Mm-hmm.
And they're turning and they're walking and they look at you and they say, "Who are you? Who are you?"
I'm the bringer of bad news. Is it possible? I think Declan would reach back and slug him if he's able to.
Kind of go to do that, and this guy catches your hands and he says, "You are weak here, little man, and you cannot hurt me, but I can hurt you." And he twists your hand, and you guys are watching him in his suit, kind of watching him as he does this, and he's kind of doing that motion thing, like he's kind of in a VR thing. And you'll see him do this move, throw his arm, and then you'll see his wrist go up, and you'll hear a snap where you're at.
Is it possible to grab something off of this person while this is happening and bring it back with me?
Let's do this. So you're going to take a broken wrist, which is going to be a level 2 negative status. I'll kind of grab a little status track. You actually put that in one of your status cards down below if you want.
Do I do I clicked on something? Did it work?
You should click on one. You can type in status. You can click up to the 2 on it. You should be able to do that. Looks good. And let's have you. What do you think is the appropriate thing here? Let's have you go toe to toe, because I think you're trying to grab something. You're trying to actually take physically hold of something.
Yeah.
So what do you think your power tags are for seizing something in this dream?
Smuggling.
Interesting. How so? How does that directly relevant?
I'm using the altercation as a distraction for me to do like a sleight of hand, like without being noticed.
Okay.
Get the thing away.
I'm reasonable. Yeah. Any other power tags?
Let me see. I'm ruggedly good looking. Let's see.
I could see smuggling and maybe your reality warping. I could see those two as things.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that.
You click on each of those power tags. You click the boxes next to them, and then I want you to click on the go toe to toe.
Okay. And then can I invoke a weakness?
Sure. Which weakness one do you want to invoke?
Okay. I think given the pain, I'm going to no conscious control. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So you click
Okay.
on that weakness tag as well, and you get to mark attention for that particular theme card.
All right. Yeah, because I wasn't expecting to be hurt so easily. Okay. So toe to toe?
Yep.
Okay.
So, well, that's a 4 then.
Wow, same result.
Yeah. I will say the Roll20 roller is a harsh mistress, as I've discovered when I ran 13th Age and ran an entire night where I didn't roll over a 10 for my bad guys. So you go to do that, and he continues to grab on, and he says, are you sent by her? I'm going to tell you now, Declan Lestrange, that I'll be coming for you.
Bring it.
And you'll pop out of that dream. Like the pain finally from your wrist hits your brain, and it will drop you out of there, and you kind of, fall to your knees here.
It'll be kind of like moaning for like my opioids.
Okay. You hit the other button for that.
Yes.
Okay.
I think whenever you come out, Azita's right there with like a cup of hot tea and maybe some chocolate or something like that, because she's like, this is some scary chicken shit. You need some of this because
Yeah, he'll unzip the mask, and I think he's probably pale from the pain still.
Oh wait, but you're like chained, right? So
yeah,
I
have some movement, but yeah, definitely.
Do you think that you always unchain yourself, or someone else always does it for you?
I hadn't given it a thought. What do you think would be fun?
I think it could be interesting if it's one of us that always does it.
Okay.
Could be Dan or I.
Yeah, I think whoever feels comfortable doing it, that's fine with me.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. I think I untrain you then.
Cool.
Or I just.
Is it chains, or is it like sort of a more high tech cord? What do you imagine there?
Oh, okay. What if it's something like since I'm going with the repurpose thing, like repurpose Bowflex bands?
Okay.
Because they're not as heavy and they provide more stretch. Plus, they can get a workout.
Ghostface, what is your take on this whole dream thing?
I don't know what happened.
It looked to you like he just broke his own wrist.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time.
Yeah, so Declan will share what little he learned about his experience.
Dan, I'm gonna like gesture for you to come over and listen to this.
What's up?
Broke his own wrist again.
That was dumb.
You want to set it? You're the athlete.
To kind of pop his.
I can wrap it up for you if you want.
I feel like there's this thing where they do that, which you probably shouldn't do to your wrist. And then, yeah, we have a makeshift splinter or whatever.
So Azita, we've got the zoo investigation set up. We've got Declan having seen this dream vision. What's your next step?
So Azita is, at this point, purposefully trying to stay out of this dream state vision stuff because it was really scary whenever she saw it, and obviously Declan just got hurt.
Yeah.
So I think she's going to drop to her. She's going to feel more comfortable. She's going to go sit in the corner, and she's going to start working through the computer.
Okay.
Start trying to find if she can find any connection to the zoo, since Dan's going to go that way. start seeing if she can find any other kinds of animal-involved murders or animal-involved assaults that might not have been reported.
This seems like an investigate action. What are your power tags that apply to you doing this kind of online computer research?
Computers. Let's see.
Okay.
I'm just going to read off my tags. Computers is definite.
Yeah.
Network communications, I don't think so, because she's not actually having to hack into a network. Well, she could directly hack into the zoo if she finds it. Let's leave that off the table now, unless something at the zoo actually comes up.
All right.
And then hacker connections, which would be
Using
maybe
those to get you into information centers, things like that.
Yeah, I think this is specifically her getting into like some of the journalist background. Like, she knows the admin at the local news station or something like that.
So computers and your hacker connection. So click those and let's have you roll.
I'm going to add in the weakness can be traced.
Please do.
Yes, because I like that. And then click on investigate.
Investigate.
Oh!
So you go to kind of look into these things. And you will definitely pick up that there is at least one more of these animal-based killings.
Okay.
But you don't have a name. You don't have a methodology. It's very, very obscure. And the thing that will strike you when kind of doing some research on this is that there are clearly some people with some computer hacking skills who have set up some little alarms and little traps, like for people that are looking into this.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've clearly trying to track that, and you end up having to cut off a number of your connections because you can tell that somebody's trying to trace back to who's looking into this, like trying to follow back, and it doesn't feel like it's the police.
I think it's, basically on, Azita's sitting at her desk and she's trying to get into places, and you hear her on their phone talking to her contact, and then, she kind of slams the phone down and then goes back to the computer. She's like, shit, that's shit. And then all of a sudden she just starts cursing up a stream, just fuck, damn it. And you see her turn this thing off and, close these windows, and it's, God damn it, these guys. Someone is blocking me. And she just gets up and kind of starts pacing back and forth across the office.
Ghostface, let's come to you.
I just pulled up like the player moves sheet, and I realized that are we like in downtime ? Can I? But I guess since everyone's really focused, because I was like, oh, it says that I can explore my mythos. But
Yeah.
I guess
Well, I want to let's do a player move, and then we'll actually do that montage downtime because I think that's actually a good idea.
Cool. Okay.
So if I'm not mistaken, from last time, Lowell, you mentioned that we can burn a move, and that gets us an automatic, roll or something like that. And then during downtime, we can get that back.
You can recover. You guys, one of your options is to recover from a status. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Ghostface, what is it you want to do for your move before we go to the downtime?
I think what I want to do is I want to like change the game, which looks like an interesting move.
Okay.
Which is because that's where I use my abilities to give me or my allies an advantage.
Sure. How do you want to help them out? What is it that you're doing to assist them?
I think because my moves are like not super great for like mythos based investigation, I'm trying to lend. I don't even know what this would mean because it's like fear / shadows.
Well, but you can also keep in mind, you can also use your police background if you're doing something to help, like do the legwork or stuff for other people's investigations. You can help them out that way. I mean, it's very flexible on how you want to describe what you want to do.
Yeah, I think what I do want to do is I want to try to like erase as much of a trace of what Azita has been doing.
Okay. Absolutely. So essentially, you're trying to negate the traced status through your change the game. That seems fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless Steven, you think it's more interesting.
No, not at all. That sounds great.
Okay.
So how do you do that? What power tags are you using to on your theme books to help you do that?
Let's see. Again, I'm gonna lean on my law enforcement ties because they are my most useful. And I think I'm basically calling on some old contacts to do this.
That seems so law enforcement and persuasive.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have you roll change the game with that.
Okay. Can I also add my weakness tag?
You're more than welcome.
Which is that I'm watched by Anita. Which I realized, that name is really similar to Azita. Sorry. Okay. Change the game. Did I?
Wow, look at that. So that is a great success.
Yay!
So you'll definitely be able to knock off that trace. And if you want, I think you can probably, do the patchwork to repair the wrist status.
Yeah. I think I get what's his name? I get Declan to like. I mean, I guess. I feel like if you break your wrist, you just need to set it, right? Like there's.
Oh yeah, it's a comic book. You just need to set it and everything's fine.
Yeah, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I get you like the medical attention from someone who it's not going to go on record. Just to get it checked up, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, you know some cops that work in sort of the underground, or not cops, but actually criminals that do off the books medical procedures, that kind of thing. So you talk to one of them that is on the low level, get them to do that.
Right.
Yeah,
or it could be like a paramedic or someone who's on the pave.
Yeah.
So
you'll get that healed. You'll get that trace taken care of. Let's talk about the zoo. How do you want to approach your zootational experience here?
I have no idea.
Are you just heading in? Are you bringing pals with you? How do you want to do this?
Yeah,
I just want to know that the fiction is so we can get to an investigate move. But what does that look like?
Yeah, I guess use my powers to kind of put himself together, looking as much as he can, and anybody that wants to come along is more than welcome to, especially Azita. So go in and talk to what would it be, the bird scientists that I'm blanking on the name of.
The zoologist?
Yeah, sure. The zoologist that deals with birds, and it's like, yeah, they have lots of big chickens and things, and Azita, do you think this could be related to what you saw?
So I think Azita's been out with Handsome Dan before, and what she does to help out is she actually, goes like super punk, like puts in all these piercings and stuff like that, to the point where whenever most straight people look at her, they kind of wince. They're like, "Oh, doesn't that hurt?" So they pay attention to her and not to Dan.
Okay.
Right? Dan, I picture as composing himself a little bit, and she's kind of drawing attention off. But I think the attitude is where we go to the zoo, and Dan's like, "What do you think about that big ostrich over there?" And I'm like, "No," just exasperated. No.
Have you seen an emu?
Nature's deadliest killer. Anyway, so after a little while, you come in, you get the passes. The PR person, does the little tour thing, but eventually you make it clear that you want to talk to a zoologist,
Mm-hmm.
and they will get this woman. She looks like she has a youngish, but she has kind of dresses more formally, a little older, and sort of plain, got those thick Coke bottle glasses on that, you think her eyes would be very, very tiny if she actually takes the glasses off. And she will say that she is Dr. Umali. And she says, you had some questions, some bird related questions. I understand it from the person in PR.
Yes. So my friend here, we're it's kind of a thing. He saw a large bird, and we're trying to track down some details about what it is he may have seen. You have any ideas, any the large birds that are native to this area, or any birds gotten away from the zoo or anything?
One of the largest things we have are golden condors. They're a large animal, a pretty significant wingspan. Is that the kind of thing that you're talking about?
I saw something that looked like the best thing I could. It looked like a chicken, okay, and it had really big legs, and that was about all I saw. And I'm just tell this guy I'm not crazy, that there's something out there like this, because I'm not crazy.
Why don't you tell me the context in which you saw this chicken?
No.
We're going to take our 5-minute break and we'll come back. That was the best response.
So, Lowell, I'm sorry I didn't give you much to work with. I just couldn't think of what else to do.
No, I think that's the perfect response.
So I thought about it a little bit during the break. So if I could potentially, do something now that I have an idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it that Azita's talking, this conversation? You've put this forward. This question has been pressed upon you.
I think after some cajoling, Azita could, basically sit down and draw like a little sketch of what she saw. And that might help identify what's going on and put it into a little bit different context that wouldn't make her sound more crazy than she already thinks she is.
So yeah, you will sketch that out.
Do we want to wait for Agatha?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was just jumping forward.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm gonna have you make an investigate roll. So figure out which tags you're gonna be using here in a second, okay?
Me?
Yes, you.
Okay. So while we have a moment, I wanted to ask you a question, Lowell. So there's a lot of moving parts in City of Mists.
Yes.
Is there anything specifically you'd like to see on the table? I've seen things like dynamite and burn a move and tier levels and that kind of stuff that we haven't hit.
Well, so tier levels are about the statuses and about how you tick the statuses up when you have an existing condition. We may hit those. The dynamite thing is very much, I think, a long-term thing. It's a thing that happens with an advance, so I wouldn't worry about that. But I would if people want to try the burning a move thing, I'll be curious about how that works.
What is the dynamite thing? I don't remember that. Is it like when you get rid of the whole card?
No, dynamite is as an advance or in certain special conditions. I have to go back and look, but you can, as an advance, say now my investigate move has dynamite. It is dynamite now. So if I roll a 12 plus, I get an additional benefit. And essentially, it's like advancing a move in other PbtA games, but they call it something different.
All right.
Yeah, and I saw something. I think it was in one of my moves, or it was in somebody's move, where it said something like, "If this is dynamite, then do blah blah blah." And it's like, I don't know what that means. So, yeah.
Well, you can always look up in the oh no, you can't. Oh, yeah. That's right.
I've actually been doing that a little bit, flipping through the book, trying to see. Oh, that's what that word means, and now I think I understand better. So
maybe they'll include the index with the next printing where they're splitting it into 2 books, a player book and a GM book.
I've got the PDFs for that. I didn't even think to check to see if they indexed those. I should do that. Money says no. It is an odd choice, but I can certainly understand in some cases, but it is the thing I learn more and more when I grow to run online and I'm having to flip through things that I need all the help I can get. All right, when Agatha gets back, we will move forward.
That's my feeling when they do a PDF and they don't hot link the chapters in the opening. Like, how could you not?
And, doing an index is kind of like a work of art. It's difficult to get it right and keep it up to date and all of that.
Oh yeah. And here's the thing is I know I've worked in publishing, and, I've read a couple of books on doing indexes, and they're insane. I mean, to do them really right and well is, as you say, is so tough. On the other hand, that being said, to do essentially take the headlines, the section headlines, and just make that into an index, do a pass through on that, I would be happy with that. That would make me happy. It would be enough for me to be able to navigate through the book.
I think that, so if you look at the Money Cook Games stuff, they have sidebars, and keeping track of all those sidebars has got to be super complicated. But speaking of them, I think they did an RPG where they didn't have the character sheet in the book.
Yeah,
which was an odd choice. Yeah,
that's like some of the people who've done PbtA games where they don't have the playbooks in the book. That is not a choice I would make, because I find it then. I then have to go and get a separate set of printouts and things like that. And in fact, a couple of the, like Masks used to do it that way, but in their new printings, they've got the playbooks in the book.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we'll roll Agatha in when she comes. So, what do you want as your power tags, and what are you doing in this process there, mitosis?
I guess mitosis would basically just be trying to like help get to an answer, like, could it be this, could it be that, could it be, like keep things moving.
Okay. So let's just do this as a flat, like a +1 to the roll. I think it's like a good standard, easy to do status on that. So what are your power tags for this then, Stephen?
So I think that what I think I want to do here is I want to try out the burn a tag. Is that right?
Okay.
Burn.
Yeah, burn a power tag.
Burn a power tag, and that means that like if I choose one, like let's say I choose my personality.
Okay.
I just burn one of those things and get an automatic dice roll.
No, you don't get a roll. You get a 10 result.
Okay.
With power 3.
Okay.
And it would be, if you had statuses that boosted or modified that like you do, then it would affect it. So you would have an additional +1, so you'd have a power 4.
Okay. So in that case, I don't know how to. Oh, maybe I do. Maybe there's a little icon off to the side where I can burn it. Look at that. There it is.
That all fancy and stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to burn under hipster or punk. The way I'm thinking it, I'm going to burn the fashionable carry-all bag.
Okay.
And this is, whenever the zoologist asks me more questions and keeps asking, I kind of, steal a glance at Dan, and then I kind of reach down into this bag and I pull out like some art supplies. I think there's like colored pencils, and maybe there's even like one of those coloring books that like, old ladies go draw in and stuff like that.
Mandala.
That, no self-respecting punk would ever be seen with. And so she kind of sits down and she flips one of the pages over and she starts sketching what she saw. And I think so this is a weakness tag, so if you want to hit that, you can. She tries too hard.
Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of drawing this and gets really into the detail. And it takes a little while to see the image that's kind of coming out. But she sketches out what she saw.
So you get 3 questions. Power 3. You're going to get 3 questions. You're going to be able to mark attention on that theme book. What is it you want to know?
Do I have a list of questions somewhere, or just ask anything?
No, this is an open-ended question.
Oh, okay. The first question will be, does the zoologist know anything about what I've sketched, what I saw?
Absolutely, and she's trying not to say.
Oh.
Like the second you start sketching it, she's like, looks and she frowns. She's like, nope, don't know what that is.
Then question number 2 is, what do I have to do to get her to open up to us? To spill her guts?
I think that you will realize as you're kind of pushing and you're kind of looking, and you've got your senses that kind of work overtime, right? you will realize that this zoologist is not normal, and that there is something of the rift about her.
Okay, so I need to.
So you're going to have to. That's going to require some direct intervention.
I see. And last question. Can I hold on to it?
Sure, that seems cool.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to lean over to Dan after I've, as I've started to sketch this thing out, and she kind of immediately recognizes it and says, "Nope, I have no idea what that is." And I kind of clue in. I think I lean over to Dan and I say, "She's one of us." And then I kind of stretch back out and, leaving the drawing there on the table, stand back up and walk over to the side of the door. I think I'm going to lock the door. I'm going to lock the door and then come back and sit back down.
Okay. So let's come back to Ghostface. You and a desuited Declan, while the other two are out at the zoo. What are you two up to?
Well, Declan makes it clear that they know who he is, and whether or not they actually will, he will state that they're planning. They said that they're coming for me.
Okay. I mean, in this case, then it would make more sense for Kyle to stay with Declan. So, there's someone there in case they come for you.
I need my guns.
Don't you have your guns here?
I need all of them. I'm gonna go get my gun duffel bag.
Like, do you keep that in the office, or do you keep that in your own office?
I keep that in a safe in my shop.
Yeah, I'll go with you.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. So you two will load up and go to head. Which of you is driving?
I am.
Okay.
Because I have the car.
Absolutely. Can I have you tell me for the face danger move when the truck T-bones your vehicle, what do you suppose are the power tags that you want to use?
Interesting. I'm looking at my adaptation. I really want to use my shadow stuff.
Sure,
so
absolutely.
I think there's that split second where it's like, what time of the day is it?
I'm assuming now you guys have been at this for a while, so we're getting on towards dusk.
Okay. It's like slow motion, the truck like comes, and then like on impact, then like I feel like the next whatever
comic panel.
There we go. Thank you. It's like on the ground, and then all the shadows, they like suddenly all like twist, and I think they like spike up, and I think they just envelop the front of the truck.
So like essentially using that to kind of cushion the impact, and kind of control its velocity.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So which of your tags are you using for this?
Shadow play and I feel like that's it. Envelop in darkness.
So essentially that you're kind of wrapping yourself in a protective cocoon of that?
Sure. I think, yeah, so then maybe it's two-sided. It's like one is like cushioning the from on the truck side, and then one is just like on the two of us.
Right. Almost like shadow airbags.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's have you roll then with those tags. Roll your face danger.
Great. I also want to do light the eternal bane as for my weakness tag.
Please do.
Because it is my eternal bane. Okay.
So you get to mark attention because you're using a weakness tag.
Yay. Okay. Face danger.
Yes.
Whoa.
So this truck T-bones into you. We see this in slow motion. It's kind of been down the block waiting. You pull out of the base, you get a little ways away, and then there's that speed up, and we see it come into frame. It hits, and even as it's lifted up, we see that sort of shadow blossom out on the inside cab where you're at, and then the shadows on the ground reach up and kind of cushion grab the truck to keep it from completely flipping, but kind of slams it over, and it will skid on the pavement from that. But you two are fine. The shadow airbags swallow all of that energy. Declan, right now, Ghostface is kind of recovering from having done that shadow thing. What do you do?
Under my breath saying, and this is why I need my guns. And I'm going to pull out pull out the one that I do have with me.
Okay.
And steady myself as much as I can with, making sure the window's down.
Okay.
And just try to take a shot at it.
Absolutely. You will see.
And I don't know if I can do that movie style, blow it up.
Well, let's find out. So essentially, you want to hit it with all you've got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you will see there are these two bigger figures kind of stepping out of the back of this car, as well as a third figure that's kind of peeling itself out of the windshield with broken glass stuck on it. That looks to you a little bit like that guy that you saw in your vision. And so you want to try and hit this truck that they drove in and essentially try to explode it to give you some space.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So what do you suppose are your power tags for hitting it with all you've got?
A good shot.
Okay.
Gunslinging stunts.
Okay.
Let's see. Subconscious reaction speed.
That's perfect. So we got 3.
And authoritative.
I don't think authoritative is going to work for that necessarily. Not to blow up a truck.
Let's see. Oh, man. Don't know if I have anything else.
+3 is awesome. I mean, there's almost no chance that you could fail on a +3. I mean, you could roll a 2.
Hey, I can.
So let's see it.
All I've got. All right.
Click those tags and hit it with all you've got.
I got a 7.
You got a 7. So on a 7 to 9 under hit it with all you've got, you're going to deal that power as status effects to them. We'll deal with that in a second. But you also get to choose one from the 7 to 9 list under hit it with all you've got. Take cover or secure a superior position. Get them good or get many of them, +1 tier. You control collateral damage. You hold their attention, or you can essentially gain the upper hand and take a +1 juice, which is kind of a floating +1 forward.
I want to get them good.
Okay.
The one, one.
Okay.
That broke my wrist.
So let me do the status on those two. Let me choose that. We'll go to, so those will be 5. So that'll be that. Choose, and then choose. Right. So the two big guys, they go flying backwards as this truck explodes. Again, probably some of the kinetic energy of that tearing into that shadow. You're kind of braced from that. The two big guys go flying. The main guy, the guy who broke your wrist, you'll see him kind of fly ragdoll up into the air. lands back down, hits the ground, and lays there still for a second before you'll see him twist his arms back into place and kind of unbreak his neck and start to get up. Meanwhile, I want to cut to the three of you in the room with this woman who says, "Why did you lock the door?"
Because my friend thinks there's something that you're not telling us. That you might know a bit more than you're letting on.
Did he send you?
Who's he?
You know, the Deathless.
You don't know anything about a Deathless?
No. All I know is that these people have come after us, and they hurt Declan.
We don't know anything about a Deathless. So tell us what you know about this drawing here. And I'm going to use my powers to kind of just start to make myself look bigger, more intimidating.
Okay, so you want to kind of push her to act. You
Yes.
kind of leaning on her. Okay, what do you think is the appropriate power tags you want to use for that?
Huge, instant muscle building.
Okay.
And maybe even the create skin texture and color, make myself look darker.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you those three. That seems fair.
And you think I should throw in monstrous or struggles to retain growth as a weakness tag?
That's entirely up to you. You're losing money not doing it, but you know.
Yeah, let's go struggles to restrain growth.
Okay. I like that.
See how it goes. And it's a convince?
Let's actually do convince here.
All right. Yeah, so 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, let me copy this, paste this. I think that you're going to give this woman the goaded status, essentially, that you push her. Like you grow, kind of stand up, and as you do that, I mean, you're clearly threatening, and you will definitely see that happen, Azita. And this woman goes, "Oh, no, you do not threaten grandmother." And she stands up and she steps back, and you will see the back wall behind her kind of rip open. And you will see this mobile home, like an Airstream trailer, smashing through the wall on these chicken legs. Azita, you see Baba Yaga's mobile home come tearing through the wall here. What do you do?
First thing I do is I kind of punch Dan and I say, "Chicken legs." Ah! So I think what I'm going to do is I want to zip around behind the zoologist grandmother.
Okay.
And probably I don't think I want to actually physically hurt her or attack her or restrain her or anything. I think all I want to do is just get behind her and whisper in her ear, "We're not here for a fight." And that, I think the effect would be maybe a startle.
So now I'll tell you, right now she's got like a level 2 status on her of goaded. Okay. Like you've got her angered and that. So that's a particular spectrum of effect. Now you can play on that, or you can kind of start another status condition if you want to go in another direction.
No, let's stay with that. I think that instead of startled, let's go with more intimidated. So
Okay.
elevate the goated. Yeah.
Okay. All right then. What do you think is the appropriate thing for that?
Yeah. So
What power tags?
I think this would be the time space warping.
Okay.
So super speed, act just before it happens. The other tag is good catcher. What exactly does that? I'm not sure what that does.
I think that's a physical tag, like if someone's throwing something.
Okay. And I think that's. I think I'll stick with that.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and have you roll.
What should I roll with?
So I think this is actually right now. You are. You want to go toe to toe because you're trying to put a status on her.
Okay.
And boost this up.
Okay.
So you've got a 9.
I've got a 9.
Which means that we're going to have 2 levels of effect. So that means that the status that she's under will go up 2 ticks. Tell me, you get to pick one from that list there. Oh no, I think that is with the power. I assume you want to do damage rather than you're worrying about taking the status on yourself.
Yes.
Okay. I think you're going to take a level 1 harm, essentially a level 1 status, as you come in and you kind of on, you said kind of blurred over by her shoulder.
Yes.
And when you're doing that, then that leg kicks out and kicks you back across the room.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll copy that and let me paste that there, and we'll do a level 1 status for that. Okay. All right. Let's come back to our shadow boxing friend. So you've stopped this truck. You hear sounds. You've kind of got that shadow, and then you'll hear the distinctive sound of Declan firing off his weapons on top of the vehicle, and then this explosion. Ghostface, what do you want to do?
So what is the status of our assailants?
It looks like the 2 like heavies that were in the vehicle that got blown up are still up, but in very bad shape. Like they're kind of staggering back away. The big guy that was sort of at the center of that explosion, who looks like just a normal person in a suit, he has his hit sort of twisted to the ground, and he's kind of pulling himself back together. And he looks surprisingly uninjured for having been blown and thrown across the street.
Huh. So I think what I want to do is I want to make sure that this explosion is not going to impact anyone else. But I'm also seeing my things. I don't know what these are called. I see that one of my weakness tags is reckless.
Yes.
I feel like I haven't been playing him this way. I don't know. I guess no, I think I still want to minimize the collateral damage.
So maybe you want to change the game to like affect the environment, to like douse the flames or help your allies, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so.
So what does that look like? What kind of power tags do you think we're using for that?
I think what this looks like is again like twofold. So one, it's like there's like actual flames, and then like in all the shadows that they're casting, then it's they kind of like rise up like shadow flames, and they form like a ring around us, which is supposed to be some kind of shield. Like people can't get in, but we can't get out either. So, so Declan, do your best. But I guess that's all. That's what I'll.
Okay. So which
do.
tags do you want to tag for that?
Definitely shadow play.
Okay.
And also I think I want to do deadened sounds. I don't want any of these. Like, I just don't want people to like hear anything that happened in here to come like investigate, because then that'll just be extra trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of using the mist and using that to deaden the sounds to make it harder for more people to get caught up in this. That seems fair.
Awesome.
That's 2 tags, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the other one doesn't count. So yes, and then again, light, the eternal bane.
That absolutely.
Be my weakness.
Go ahead and roll change the game.
Change the game.
So that is power 2. That is a mild success. So you get what's called juice. Essentially, it's something that you can spend to add tags, to remove story tags. So I will say one of those juice you can use to essentially keep people back.
Okay.
What do you want to use that other juice for? Do you want to affect someone? Do you want to protect?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I want to. A part of that, I think I also want to shield Declan, because Declan has definitely rushed in, so guns are blazing literally. So I think I want there to be like a shadow shield around him.
Absolutely. So 1 juice to reduce any incoming harm that Declan might take.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Declan, explosion, bad boys go flying. Kolshi the Deathless hits the ground, starting to pull himself back together. Shadows around you. You have fought alongside Ghostface before, so you recognize how his shadows work. What do you want to do?
All right, so Declan wants to. Oh man, he's going to take He's going to take his concoction that he keeps emergency supply on him.
Okay.
And he wants to adjust. Well, okay. He's hoping, if he can't kill this thing, this person or whatever, to induce catatonic state in it.
Oh, interesting.
With his meds, creating like a delirium or psychic loop of reliving the same thing again and again, basically immobilizing it.
Okay.
Not actually trying to kill him, just trying to like make it less of a threat to us. So he's going to try to do that and then deliver that in some way to that creature.
So I think that's you using those powers to try and, induce a sort of a sleep status. You're hitting it with all you got. I mean, this is a real get in its face, trying to do that, to create that status thing. Okay. What power tags do you want to say for that?
Let's see. So when we use these tags, they're just on for that roll.
Just on for that roll. They will clear up afterwards.
Okay, because mine stayed on.
Oh yeah, you can always unclick them. But yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. So I don't know if I guess I was thinking of premonitions as maybe like I got an insight flash, almost like a what do they call it? I have to take LSD.
Flashback.
Trip. Yeah, from when I encountered him earlier.
Okay.
Like a strong fear or something inside.
Sure.
And then let's see. I'm going to say good shot because I am trying to aim to hit close to the base of the brainstem.
That sounds good to me.
And let's see. Reaction speed.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay, those are the ones that make sense to me.
All right, let's do it.
All right, hit it with all you got. All right. Okay, here we go.
So that is a power 3.
Oh.
Do you want? You have a couple of choices you can do with that.
Yeah.
You see now. What are the 2 choices you want?
I want to get them good.
Okay.
And what does juice mean in this?
Juice is that sort of floating +1 forward. You can use it for things. Bennies.
Okay. I want to gain the upper hand.
Okay.
Juice equals 1.
All right. And actually, let me get the multi-sided, 2-side. And got them good, and you will have 1 juice. We already gave you a level 1 status, right? I think from when you got hit before, or have you haven't gotten touched yet, have you, Declan?
What do you mean by touched?
Like you haven't gotten hit by any effects yet for statuses. Okay. No. So what it would have been is it would have been a level 2 status effect back for you, but because of the shadow shield, essentially you get up and are firing that off at him, and he does like catch you with his arm. The shadow kind of shoots up, will kind of block part of it, and so he doesn't get a full hit on you. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So Declan physical. The level 1 status there. So yeah, you in yet level 4 status, he is staggering right now, Declan. You've shot him up with this stuff, and he is trying to stay on his feet, but he is barely keeping it together. And he's trying to push back on those shadows, but he clearly wasn't expecting that kind of attack. Let's cut to you then, Handsome Dan. How do you want to fight Baba Yaga and her Airstream trailer?
Yeah, I would want the cut back over to be a smash cut as Handsome Dan is flying through the air with a fist towards the Airstream trailer.
So let me ask you this: are you trying to do damage there, or are you more trying to change the situation, or are you trying to goad Baba Yaga further by damaging the hut?
I think maybe goad her further.
Okay.
You know, like, yes, I do, and threaten Baba Yaga and her hut.
Absolutely. Let's have you hit it with all you got. Tell me what you're doing tag wise.
Okay. Well, as an ex-fighter, I have a mean right hook.
Okay.
I have. I'm huge, and I can instantly build muscles.
Okay, that's 3.
And I can grow extra limbs.
Sure, if you want to use that as a tag.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so essentially you're growing extra limbs to grab onto this trailer. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's have you roll it, Spider Dan.
Alrighty. Am I rolling?
This is hit it with all you got.
Hit it with all you got. Okay. Wow.
So let's see what that is. So that's a 10. That is power 4. So I choose side. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4 ticks. And you get to choose 2.
Well, I want to control the collateral damage.
Okay. So that the hut doesn't start smashing through the street.
Yeah. So bring it down in a safe place.
Okay.
And I want to get him good.
Okay. You can see when you do this, and tell me what that looks like. What do we see on screen with you and your force, smashing into this hut?
Yeah, so like I said, it's just him flying into it. As he bashes into it with a fist, then extra arms start growing and grabbing onto like the window of the airstream, and he's just pounding it as it falls down against the ground beyond where that wall is.
Yeah, like we see like the frames of those windows kind of popping, that kind of silver metal reflective big fish dents in this thing, and Baba, you're pushing back on this thing, and Baba Yaga is just furious. You can tell she's trying to control her energy and her situation, but she's kind of losing control of it right now. What do you do, Flicker?
So yeah, I think Flicker kind of shakes herself up and kind of gets up from where the big chicken thing kicked her to, and she's like, "Oh no, you don't! I'm coming for you!" And says, "Grandma, I'm gonna make this thing into the biggest pile of chicken nuggets you've ever seen." So I'm gonna attack the Baba Yaga's hut, the trailer.
Okay.
I'm gonna use the crew theme, "Got Each Other's Back."
Okay.
Right? And super speed. Let's see. And I like sarcastic remarks too.
Okay. Right? Yeah, they're trying to finish off that goading on her. So you get a +3 then with all those.
And I'll do a weakness of time space overload to see what Baba Yaga does with that.
Okay. I hope you fail.
That. Yeah. And that's going to be hit with all you've got.
Yeah.
Oh, I got an 8.
So you get to pick one of those.
Yeah. I don't care about collateral damage. I think I'm going to get +1 tier.
Yeah. Okay.
Do extra damage, right?
So tell me what it looks like when you bust that up and she takes that feedback. Already Dan has torn sections of it. What do we see on screen?
So I think while Dan is tearing sections of it, I take advantage of that, and you see me grab like some loose wire from the building that she just ripped apart, and I run really fast around the legs, and they trip, and you see the building just kind of into the ground, almost like a tornado picked it up and threw it into the ground.
Absolutely. And it will hit sort of, Wizard of Oz style, kind of flips over, smashes down, and probably hits her. Sort of Wicked Witch of the Far East, Russian style. And it will come down on top of her, and we actually see it hit, and she gets buried under that rubble, and she is out. However, for you, that took a lot of your energy, and essentially you're going to take a level 2 injury. What is it that happens to you? What do we see the effect on your physical form when you push it that far?
Oh, I think that it's almost as if I start to come out of phase a little bit. There's a little bit of blur at the edge of her. And she, whenever she kind of stops and the dust kind of clears, she's kind of breathing real heavily and kind of bent over. And you see this kind of almost like a kind of blur around her edges. So when I take a level 2, is that a different status than harm?
It'll be under the harm status. So you'll go up 2 ticks on that.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ghostface. Right now, where you're at, Declan, it looks like he is on top of the big guy. There are two others who are kind of moving in to come at him. What do you want to do?
I guess I will try to hit them. Okay, so it's okay. Can you describe again?
Oh, sure. So you've used that shadow to kind of encircle him, and that pushed back the crowd, and it also kept the two sort of bruisers at bay for the moment. And while you were doing that, Declan leapt over with his medications and spinally injected that into this deathless agent guy. Got kind of smacked a little bit by it, but not that bad. Declan looks like he's in good shape. But right now, the deathless guy is just about out, but there are those two bruisers who are coming in.
Oh, okay.
You could finish off the deathless guy. You could try and knock back these trolls.
Yeah, I'll leave Declan with this duel. I think they got some like beef going on, and I don't want to get in the way of that. So I will grab my gun, which I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna shoot these two trolls.
What are your power tags for lighting these two bruisers up?
Shoot first and dirty fighting.
Okay.
Are they like humanoids? Is that what's going on?
No, they're clearly got a little bit of the mythic to them.
So they're not humanoid. Sad times. But I'll shoot both of them in the knee.
Okay. Power level 2 then. Roll with your hit it with all you got.
I also kind of want to try to give them the fright in case they don't go down. Can I do that?
Yeah, we'll throw that in there.
Yay. And then okay. My weakness is I am reckless.
Please.
Okay. Awesome. Oh. Okay. So 3. Okay. Hit him.
So tell me what that looks like when you shoot them in the various kneecaps there.
Yeah,
two big guys are running at you. They've already taken some they got smoldering jackets and things, and they're like charging over to get in the fray.
Yeah, I have one of those. What are they called? Like the hidden holster things that kind of are just like in your pants. I don't know what they're. Anyway, so it's like one of those. So it looks like I'm like reaching my pants, and then I pull out. I don't know, my
concealed weapon.
Yeah, yeah, and then what do I do? They're like running for me, and maybe I grab some like pebbles from the ground and I throw them at their face, and then I shoot their kneecaps.
Okay, so
so
like you grab some of the pebbles, you've got the shadow with you, you fling that so that they hold up for a second, and then is it do you let loose with a volley of shots, or is it one shot to one and then another shot to the other?
I don't think I'm very precise, so I think
okay,
spray and pray.
So they will drop as you gun them down, and they will hit the ground, crying out, not dead, but certainly taking out. They're not able to take that amount of damage. Declan, you're still struggling with this deathless guy. He is just about out.
Oh, good. By the way, I also want to say that like I also hit them with a fright, and I think it's just like another panel where it's just like my face, and then it like superimposed over my face is some kind of like scary skull.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
Well, maybe we see the image of you about to pull down that mask,
yeah.
and then we see their faces, even as they're clutching their legs, and then they seem to have forgotten about the pain. The terror seems to have washed over them.
Yeah. It's the kind where they're like crying and there's like snot and then they're also drooling.
Okay. All right, Declan.
Just as a side comment, I feel like Declan and Kyle have a lot in common right now. Okay, so Declan, he pulls out the crucifix from around him.
Okay.
And in Latin, he begins, and he's going to put the crucifix on the thing's head, and he's going to attempt an exorcism.
Okay. What do you think your power tags are for this kind of alternate religious ceremony?
Yeah. Archaeologist.
Okay.
Come back here. I'm going to do mysterious ending. I think that one's gonna work. I'm just gonna do those two. Let me see if I've got a good weakness here. Nope, I don't really think so. So just those two.
Okay.
What is this hit without anything else?
Yeah, I think we're still hitting it with all you got.
Okay. So yeah, I'm doing like the Latin ritual and everything.
Okay.
Oh, it's a miss.
It is a miss. So you go to do that,
and I have that +1 juice thing. Does that count here or not?
Yeah, well, I think you could push it up to a 6, but it's still a miss.
All right, can I? Maybe I can't because it's after the fact. Burn a tag.
No, you have to burn the tag beforehand.
Okay. All right.
So Declan, this guy is kind of just about to go out, and you go for the crucifix, and you kind of put it to him, and his eyes come open, and he goes, "Wrong church," and he throws you and just sends you flying across the street. And he kind of gets to his feet to stagger and just takes off, running into the crowd, kind of staggering to get away from you.
You run.
Let's come back to Dan. You and Azita have this broken shreds of Baba Yaga's Airstream trailer and a unconscious Rift buried under the rubble of it. What do you want to do?
Now that was a fight worth having.
I think Azita kind of catches her breath. Yeah. And she goes over to check out the big giant chicken legs.
Okay. Yeah. It is kind of starting to kind of collapse into normal. Like the chicken legs are starting to look just like metal chicken pillars, and you can see them start to kind of the mist sort of kind of changing things.
So I'm gonna clear some of the rubble and pick up Dr. Ulani. Was it?
Okay.
What do we do about her?
I don't care. Let's go talk to the other guys. We've got the chicken lady. It should be fine.
Okay.
We can see if Declan wants to break her wrist.
So you got to kind of grab her, keep her KO'd, go to head to the others.
Mm-hmm. Head back to the base.
Ghostface. Declan went flying past you. And this guy who got smashed is run off into the crowd. What do you want to do, Ghostface?
I gotta catch Declan probably.
Okay. So tell me what that looks like. I don't think we need a roll for that. I think you have to describe how you catch him.
I think it would be so comedic if I ran over and physically caught him. But I won't do that because we're not actually superheroes. I think I like run a couple steps and then I like put my hand on the ground and it's in like a pool of shadows and then that pool like it like shoots ahead and it like keeps reaching other like shadows and then until they like finally get to where Declan is and it actually like it connects with Declan's shadow as well and then they kind of like fan out. It looks like hands.
Okay.
But flame hands.
Does it
shadow flame.
And then the shadow flame hands kind of catch you, Declan. Keep you from taking too bad a hit. Kind of catch your breath from that. Declan, had you seen this much shadow power been used before?
No.
Okay. What's your take on that? Is it freaky or normal or what?
I think given the events happening recently, I can accept the shadow power a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah, it's been very helpful. It's prevented our deaths in a collision. It's prevented the fire and things. Yeah, I'm seeing this as a more helpful ability.
And even as you two are kind of getting yourselves together and kind of looking at that, people around you are going, "Oh my God, look at this horrific traffic accident. This car ran into this other car." They're just reading it as something normal that's happened. They don't see anything of the supernatural. They just see it as just a weird thing that happened.
Yeah, I'm like shaking my head. Man, my insurance is gonna spike.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We should probably get back with the others.
I think that's probably where we need to stop for tonight. Is with the near defeat of one of the major foes and the definite defeat of the other one, and we'll take up with what you do with Baba Yaga next time. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's where we're going to stop.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for indulging in my chicken jokes and putting that on the table. I hope that was okay.
I love the Airstream trailer camper thing. That was awesome.
That's an amusing image for me there. So, David, John, thank you both for coming in for this session and filling in. I appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
Happy to do so.
Yeah,
And
and
it's fun.
and throwing you in the mix in a system that has some really weird steps to it that I'm still getting used to. So
yeah, it seems like a fun game I've been wanting to try for a while. So thank you.
got some neat stuff. I'm going to stop the broadcast.